It's Sunday, and that means going to church and eating way too much. But I bet you'd never think that a church could be one of the most dangerous places. If you believe in angels, then you believe in demons. Even places of worship can be haunted. Today I've got a story about a church and what could happen to you if you open your eyes while praying. This story was submitted by Dolores_Claiborne. If you have a scary experience and you want the world to hear about it, share it with us at darkstories.org. Now, happy Sunday. I first started noticing something was a little off about me from the rest of the kids on my bus in elementary school. Our bus route took us past a graveyard. Most kids on the bus would swap back and forth their scary stories they came up with, or the stories their older siblings passed down to them, with giggles and gasps. But I was frightened when we pulled up to the graveyard for the bus stop on the other side of the street, because none of the other kids seemed to notice all the people either waving at our bus or screaming from the inside of the big iron fence. I went to a Catholic school. Before the school was converted into a school, it was a church where all the nuns lived. The structure being that old, it's pretty much a given that some people died there from time to time. It's only natural. Now, part of the school was still used as a housing place for the nuns and foster children that needed to go to the school. We obviously weren't allowed near the dorms area of the school, but the rest of the building was used as classrooms, as a cafeteria, which was located terrifyingly in the basement of the church, a gymnasium, and a prayer room. Instead of recess at the end of the day, we only had one after lunch, because the other 45-minute break we had was dedicated to silent prayer. I hated silent prayer. It meant we always had to sit next to a nun named Sister Annalise, so she'd make sure we didn't goof off, while everyone's heads were down and eyes were closed. One day I was made to go sit in the prayer room to get my prayers done early, because my father had to go pick me up for an appointment. Sister Annalise was still helping some other students when I left to go pray. I was happy to be getting out of school a couple of hours early, so I decided I'd pray real hard that day to show my thankfulness. I knelt down, I lowered my head, and I closed my eyes, fingers intertwined. I was in this position for a good couple of minutes, before I felt someone kneel down beside me. I assumed it was one of the nuns or Sister Annalise, so I didn't raise my head right away to look at her. If a nun caught you looking up from a prayer, well, you would have gotten a whack on the knuckles with a ruler. Prayer was said to be the most important thing a human could do, much more important than human curiosity. So I didn't look up for a long time, until the air around me began to get really cold. What I still thought was a nun beside me started breathing terribly heavily. It sounded like a pipe smoker who just couldn't catch his breath. Every hair on my body stood up, like the point on a needle. I knew deep down that if I looked up at what was beside me, it would be much worse than a ruler to the back of the hand. The cold air moved from beside me to right in front of my face. In the end, through the terror and curiosity, I could not help myself. My eyes snapped open, but nothing was there. There was no one in front of me and no one beside me. I still couldn't help but feel panic rise up. Even if it looked like I was in the room alone, I was not alone in that room at all. I had no problem hightailing it out of there. I ended up running into my father in the hallway, and everything spilled out in a jumble my father could not make sense of. He assumed I must have fallen asleep while praying, and my imagination got the better of me. From that day on, I've seen a shadow of what appears to be a nun in the corner of my eye, usually in the darkness of each room. I think she's mad at me because I opened my eyes while praying.